Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We could not do this event tonight without the gracious hospitality of Buck and Colleen Johns. Give them a big hand for opening their home. We've had senators, we've had governors, we've had Vice President Dan Quayle here, we've had Larry Elder here, and now they're opening our home to have all of our candidates for office in our state and our county with us. I want to give a big shout out to Doy Henley and Ed Laird, who also co-sponsored tonight and help us pay for everything. And now to get all of you fired up and hopefully cooled off soon, we are going to have a rocket docket tonight. We've got every one of our partisan candidates coming up for 3 minutes, and I'm honored to introduce our Congresswoman who beat Harley Ruda 2 years ago. She's going to send Jay Chen backing back to Walnut in LA County, the Honorable Michelle Steele.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Baugh. Where is he? Oh, I see him, that he's wearing a great hat. Thank you very much for inviting me today. You know what? I'm just so much blessed because we have a great OCGOP chair here, that Fred Whitaker, that he's been doing a great job, and let's give him a big hand. And then we are so happy that California Republican Party Chair Jessica Patterson and then Republican National Committee, they opened the first community service center in my district. Hi, Patty. Nice seeing you. So I had, it's just such a great community center. It's not just registering people to vote for Republicans, but they are actually doing their own cultural custom dances. And then when you crave any Vietnamese food, please come to our community center because they always have great Vietnamese food there. So we have OCGOP, CRP, and Republican National Committee. They all working together. In Congress, we need only 5 more seats. Can you believe that? We are only 5 short. I cannot lose. Mike Garcia cannot lose. David Balladeo cannot lose. I know Young Kim is gonna win. We all gonna win. Plus, we're gonna bring more. We have Scott Baugh, we have Brian Marriott, and we have Eric Chen. And you know what? Think about it. All these candidates here that we all gonna win, you have the best candidates ever. And I know in November, we're gonna come back here to celebrate. So I just wanna say thank you to all the volunteers. And I see all of my friends actually sitting here. And Doy, nice seeing you, and Patty, and Ed, and I see Heidi. I just wanna say thank you, everyone. Let's just go 61 more days to go. And I know we're all gonna win. Thank you, everyone.
And now I'm honored to present our next Congresswoman who also won last time, beating Gil Cisneros, and she's going to send Asush Masood back to his practice up in Rancho Cucamonga, Young Kim.
Great. Thank you, Chairman. Excited to be here. Are you guys fired up? Yeah. Are you fired up enough to fire Nancy Pelosi? Yeah. That's what we're doing right now. I'm so excited to be here. I want to thank Buck and Colleen and Beth. Thank you so much for opening your house. For all of us here, I'm really excited to have my dear friend and colleague, Michelle Steele, that we serve together. But it's not just going to be 2 of us. We have so many congressional candidates that's going to join us, start walking the halls of Congress next year, and we're going to lead from the position of strength from day 1, where we're all sworn into our respective offices. And the road to victory, taking back the House, starts right here in Orange County. Boy, I don't have to tell you, we were so close to taking back the House in the last cycle when we were only short by 31,751 votes. We can do it this year, and this is a year to do it, because you know what, we got this. You know who doesn't even know where the bathroom is, and he forgets where he's going in the White House? And we got this Nancy Pelosi, whose nephew, and the Democrat-controlled legislation in Sacramento, where I served, is pushing out all of this very far left progressive agenda, and they want us to make those at the federal level, nationalizing those legislations like AB 5. We're stopping it, and Michelle and I, we showed it by leadership with the strength by voting against PRO Act. What we're fighting for is really important. Ladies and gentlemen, we're fighting for freedom. We're fighting for opportunities for all Americans. We're fighting for strong economy. We're fighting for America's energy independence. We're fighting to provide supply chains. We're fighting to keep our communities safe. We're bringing back common sense leadership, as Michelle and I are already doing. But with more, we can do enough and more and lead from the position of strength and bring peace back. We're going to have to secure our border, where our Kamala Harris, the so-called border czar, is not doing anything, hasn't even gone down to the border. Oh, take it back. She said she was 75 miles away from the border, and she said she was there. Oh, trust me. Michelle and I, we've been down to the border. I've been down there multiple times, and we have a comprehensive southern border strategy to secure the border. That's what we're working on. We're working to fight and bring down the inflation. And I'm going to need a little more help. And I know Scott Baugh is going to come and join us, and many others, Brian Marriott, and whoever else is here running for Congress. Please help us, because at the congressional level, we can take back the House. And again, it starts with all of you working together. But I'm so excited to be among so many candidates running at all levels in various offices. So help us. Let's win. Let's get fired up and fire Nancy Pelosi and send her packing in November. Thank you so much.
Great job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been suffering in the Newport Beach area with Connie Petrie Norris as our assemblywoman for the last 4 years. We almost took her out last time. Diane Dixon, your city council member here in Newport Beach, just did a fabulous job in that campaign. The district is now even more favorable. So favorable, Connie Petrie Norris decided that she had to move to an apartment in Irvine to not face Diane. Diane Dixon is going to be your assemblywoman here. We're bringing Republican representation back to Newport Beach. I give you Diane Dixon.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Chair. This is an amazing opportunity for all of us candidates, because we are all fired up. So thank you. So the Congress is taken care of. With the representatives we have, with our candidates who are already here and in Washington, we're going to be great. Sacramento is our challenge. Okay. So I just want everyone to know why the Assembly is really important to you, because it's not just me winning. We have a task, a major challenge in front of us. How many people think that gas, crime, groceries are too high? All of us. That's just the short list. I call it the list of horribles in California. We as Republicans can destroy, break down, break apart, eliminate the supermajority that's held by the one party, the Democrats, who have control. But let me tell you quickly what the plan is. If I win, I will win. We only have 8 more assembly seats that we have to take back in the next 2, possibly 3 election cycles. So folks, it's not just this race. If we break up the supermajority, we put a brake on new taxes, we put a brake on constitutional amendments on our ballots, and we put a brake on laws, horrible laws that get passed and then immediately take effect, among a whole list of other things. We have to control the legislature by getting rid of the 2/3 vote. So that is my goal. Coming from Newport Beach with all of you, this tremendous support, we are going to take back, can't take back the legislature quite yet, that's our next challenge, but we are going to eliminate the supermajority. It is a reasonable goal. We have to work hard, not just this election, but for every election for the next 2. 1 or 2 or 3 cycles. We can do it. So think long-term. Don't give up. We're going to win. I'm going to win. I know I have all of your support. You are the Army. We can't do what we do without all of you. We need an Army, but most importantly, there are a lot of important things. When you hear this is the election, think of this election like your life depends on it. It truly does. Everything that affects your life, your business, your family, the education of your children or your grandchildren, your quality of life, your safe neighborhoods, where does it start? Sacramento. We have to deal with the problems that are coming out of Sacramento, and it's all up to all of us. I thank you for all the hard work. Tell everybody not just vote. They have to turn in their ballot. There's a 2-step process, and it's really critical that people have confidence in the voting system in Orange County. I do. I hope all of you do. We can vote, we can win, and we're on our way. And I want to thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Now you'll get to see one of our great state legislators, but she's got a district now that redistricting has challenged all common sense. Her district goes all the way from the San Clemente border up the coast, all the way through Stanton and Cypress, and into Cerritos and Artesia and Los Angeles County, if you can believe it. There's one candidate that can win that seat, and that's Janet Nguyen. She is our Assemblywoman. She's going to be our state senator again. I give you Assemblywoman Nguyen.
Thank you. I want to first again thank Buck, Carlene, and Beth for hosting us tonight. I also, if you can, give a big round of applause to our chairman and the OCGOP and the coordination of all the volunteers and everything that we've been doing so far in the last few months. And Doy and Ed, thank you. You're always at every fundraiser, always at my fundraisers and all of our candidates, and your heart, you truly believe in all of us, and we are so, so grateful. Again, I'm Assemblywoman Janet Nguyen. My new district, as the chairman said, is now in Newport Beach, Corona Del Mar, Laguna Beach, Dana Point, Capistrano Beach, and also San Clemente. And that's only half of my district. I haven't talked about the northern part of my district. So if you know anybody in those cities, please make sure that we turn out to vote. But it's so critical in this election. It's about turnout. We need you to turn out. We need you to turn out your families, your friends, your children. It is so critical. That red wave can only happen if every one of us and our families turn out. I also want to thank all of our volunteers the last several months. Just on Saturday alone at my campaign kickoff in Huntington Beach, over 250 people showed up in 105 degrees. But here's even better. We walked 2,500 homes in my district just on Saturday in 105 degrees. We can't do this alone. We can only do it because of all of you, our donors, our volunteers, whose canvas is my district, but not only touches my district, it's in the Scott Baugh, it's in the Michelle Steele, it's in the Pat Bates, it's in the Diane Dixon. I think I have half of Orange County now. But you're here by canvassing, writing postcard, calling for us, and donating to us. We are so grateful because we can only do this with an army. And that army will take us and push every one of us through November 8th, and we will all win. And the issues, Diane's already mentioned it. We can get back to the 2/3 in the state Senate. We were there in 2014 when we won my seat. That was a 2/3 seat in the state Senate. And for those 2 years, former Senator Morlock was there. Our Republican leader, Pat Bates, was there as a senator, and she's our current senator. We were there. That 2 years, no new fees, no new taxes were voted on because we held the votes. So it wasn't too long ago We can still do it, and I'm confident that in the next 2 cycles, the California State Senate Republican caucus, we can get back to those 2/3 votes. And we can make sure that when Gavin Newsom stands on TV and tells us to all turn down our electricity because our air conditioner is too high, it's on too high, but yet he's wearing a fleece jacket zipped up. Help me understand that. My boys are going shirtless in my district, and we live in Huntington Beach. Why he is on TV telling us to turn down our air conditioner because it's going to shut down the grid in California, and he's wearing a baseball cap and a fleece jacket, not just a jacket, a fleece jacket zipped up. That is our governor. And that was just yesterday. We need to stop the policy in Sacramento, bring down that gas price, bring down the crime, control the homelessness. And so I'm confident with the candidates we have today and with the leaderships we have, we can do it. But we can only do it with you, the full army across Orange County. And again, thank you so much. All of us have signs out there. Please grab some of our signs. And I'm excited to hear from our governor candidate, Senator Brian Jones, as well. Thank you. Brian Dahle, not Jones. That's the other senator.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a battle right here in Orange County. When redistricting happened, Katrina Foley, who should never have represented any part of this area, ends up now running in a race in a seat that's a Republican seat. We got through a primary, and Pat Bates, who has been a stalwart of this party year after year, our leader in the Senate, she is our candidate for supervisor. All of our polls tell us at June and now that if Republicans get out to vote in this district, Pat Bates will be our supervisor, and we will maintain our majority on the Orange County Board of Supervisors. But ladies and gentlemen, Katrina Foley is dangerous, and if we don't do what we should do, we put the entire county at risk. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Pat Bates, once a supervisor, will be again. She is our leader. Please welcome her.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Fred, for that incredible introduction. And thank you guys you can't say you guys anymore. I just read that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And I have to say thank you to the Johns. Oh, my gosh. Buck told me that this is 43 years in this location. And I know he has had this court filled for all of us at one time or another. So thank you. We love you guys, and you keep the faith, and that's what we need. I have the faith, you guys. She's dangerous. I guess I'm not. But she doesn't look at me when we're together. And when I walked in to make a presentation at the Costa Mesa City Council a couple of months ago, she saw me, and I swear she turned totally white. So I must be dangerous. I've never thought of myself that way. Also, you'll hear that I'm a career politician. I have been doing this, you guys. No. Everybody, for 30 years. It's true. I was first elected in 1997 to a special district, and I've been in public service since that time. Does that make me a career politician? What I believe I am, I'm a career policymaker, and I believe Republicans who have been in office and keep that office, it is a noble profession. We are career policymakers, and those policies affect you. They affect you. They affect your children, your grandchildren, on into the future. So bear that in mind when you hear that. You'll also hear that I'm old. Yeah, I'm an octogenarian. I am older than the president, but I like to remind you I brought my brain with me, and it's still working. It's still working very well. And most importantly, I probably have as much energy as my whole caucus because they were falling asleep, right? Brian, where are you? And I was still working when the governor kept us up till 2 a.m. trying to get votes for Diablo Canyon, and that's another whole story. So I'm up for the fight. It's going to be a big one. I won the supervisor seat in 2007 against $4 million, you guys. I had barely $1 million, but I had all of you. We had an army. That's what we need. What they're doing, through Katie Porter's money, they're buying volunteers. We don't have to do that. Look at who's here. Multiply yourself by 10, 20 people, 30 people, social media. We have the Army, we have the fight, and guess what? We can take the heat. You just heard that from Janet. We're out there at 105 degrees still walking. So we will need you. Grassroots beats money. That's how I did it. That's how we will do it. And all the candidates that you see here tonight, we will have one heck of a celebration because we're all going to get there with your help. We need enough money, and I think we're all picking your pockets. It might be a little light these days, but whatever you can provide to the candidates really helps. That we can win, we will win, and we will not have a majority of Democrats on our Board of Supervisors. I can't believe that would happen in Orange County. That's why I agreed to run. As you know, I was recruited into this because the polls show that I probably have the best chance against Katrina, and she hasn't seen nothing yet, you guys. I am very subtly dangerous, so take care. Love you all, and I'll be there for you one way or another. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since we won any of the constitutional offices statewide. This year, I think it's going to be different. We have candidates who are bringing a different message, candidates who are bringing a message of hope to people. I'd like to introduce to you Cudahy City Councilman and our candidate for Treasurer of the State of California, Jack Guerrero.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a delight to be here with all of you this evening in beautiful Newport Beach. I have never been more excited about being part of the Republican ticket than I am in 2022. We have a more diverse, competent, compelling ticket, more than we have seen in a generation, and I'm delighted to be part of this. Ladies and gentlemen, we can win in November. Let me share a little bit about my personal story and the city that I represent. I've been a mayor and a city council member in deep blue Los Angeles County. My city is 98% Hispanic, mostly Spanish-speaking, and 90% Democrat. And against that backdrop, I have consistently been reelected to the position of city council member and mayor year after year because the issues I speak to are issues that resonate with ordinary people. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, Republican ideas are the ones that speak to ordinary people. We don't want to be like everybody else. We are everybody else. That's the reality. Let me share a little bit about the Hispanic demographic. Wall Street Journal just a couple of months ago reported that Hispanics are positioned to vote 37% for Republicans and 37% for Democrats in the upcoming congressional midterms. This is the first time that Wall Street Journal has reported a balanced demographic. Just today, I read a new poll that has changed that mix to 45% and 43%. For all intents and purposes, a balanced demographic for the first time ever. And let me share as well, the erosion of support for President Biden has never been more staggering. Among African Americans, the support has gone from 75% to a staggering 50% among African Americans. Think about that opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, we can win, and it's not just economy or inflation, which, by the way, happens to be the #1 issue for Hispanics in the state of California, inflation. But it transcends inflation and economy. It's public safety. It's the decrepit public education that is afflicting Hispanic and working class communities up and down the state. It's the neglect of public safety. It goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. There is a revolution coming in this state and in this country, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get it started without me. My name is Jack Guerrero, candidate for treasurer. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you. All right, and if that didn't fire you up, can you believe that the LA Times has endorsed a Republican for state controller? That has not happened in my entire history in Republican politics. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to introduce to you investor, economist, complete person who understands the economy, Lanhee Chen, our candidate for controller. He is going to bring stability and balance back to our state and accountability. Lanhee Chen, please come join us.
Well, thank you, Fred. Thank you to Colleen and to Buck for hosting this. This is terrific. Let me just say this. How many of you think that Sacramento is spending your money wisely? I thought I'd get a friendly reaction here. The state controller is the person who's supposed to give us responsibility and accountability for every single dollar the state spends. We all know we don't have that now. And right now in the state of California, we are in a critical time. You look at all the challenges we have. It's inflation, it's homelessness, it's public safety, all of the issues that we are keenly aware of. And yet we don't have a sense of how $300 billion a year is spent. When I get to Sacramento as controller, the very first priority is going to be to make sure that all of you know exactly how our money is being spent. We are going to audit the EDD. We are going to audit public schools to make sure that public school money is being spent the right way. We are finally going to get to the bottom of where this money is spent. You know, I had the good fortune to grow up in Southern California. I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. But the California I grew up in looks nothing like the California we see today. The California we see today, unfortunately, is a place where too many people come just to leave. And we've got to change that. But we have an opportunity this November to do that. The state controller's office, not an office people spend a lot of time thinking about, okay? We did a poll recently. 95% of people did not know what the state controller does. The 5% who said they did were lying, because nobody knows what the state controller does. But let me tell you something. In November, we are going to finally be able to make a difference, to move this state forward with accountability and transparency. My opponent started her career as Gavin Newsom's intern, and she has never stopped being part of that one-party monopoly. Let me give you a little bit of an eye into how she thinks. She said that when she ran an audit, before sharing it with all of you, the taxpayers, she would show her friends first and ask them, is there anything we can do about this? That's not a controller, ladies and gentlemen, that's a collaborator. We need, finally in this office, somebody who will be a watchdog for your money, not a lapdog for the Sacramento interests. And so to get there, we're going to need your help. So I appreciate everything that all of you are doing. I appreciate the county party down here. And if we work together, I firmly believe we're going to elect a lot of Republicans this November, and we're going to finally have accountability and transparency back in the controller's office. So thank you all very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud of this next candidate. He was my predecessor as chairman of the Republican Party for over 10 years. He was our leader in the Assembly. He is now taking on Katie Porter. She is Elizabeth Warren's protege. She's going to be one of the toughest races in the entire country, but he's got amazing news to share with you tonight. We are going to win the 47th Congressional District with Scott Baugh. Scott, come on up.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Fred, the greatest guy in this, I guess, tennis court tonight. He relieved me of some difficult duties, and he's doing a fantastic job. Let's give a hand for Fred again. Thank you. So are there any reporters here? I just have to ask the reporter. They're always asking me a question. I got to ask them a question. Don't you get tired of getting it wrong all the time, every year, all the polls? You know, in 2016, they said Trump didn't have a chance. Trump won. And in 2020, they said, no, Trump was losing by 10. Well, let's not go there. In 2020, they said young Kim wasn't going to win. They said Michelle Still wasn't going to win. I just want to remind you that they won. All right, good deal. And let me just say this about the generic ballot. We talk about the generic ballot, and I got to tell you, Jack Guerrero, it's like, are you a preacher? That's good stuff you got there. You ought to do that. But in 2020, the generic ballot had the Democrats up by 6 points. And guess what? Republicans picked up 15 seats in the House. Don't they get tired of getting it wrong all the time? Right now, they have the generic ballot kind of tied. And we're going to see a swing coming back as the economy and inflation and interest rates and all that and layoffs are coming around the corner. We see it in the news today. And the generic ballot is swinging back towards the Republicans. But you know what? We don't have to have a favorable generic ballot to win. And we don't have to have a favorable generic ballot to win in this district. This district is a Republican district. I don't care if Katie Porter had $50 million. You can't sell socialism to the coast of Orange County. So let me just say this. We are going to win. We are going to fire Katie Porter. We're going to fire Nancy Pelosi. We're going to get rid of open border Porter. And we're going to have a majority in Congress. And we're going to set this country back on the right course with your help. Thank you. God bless you. Great job, Fred.
Everybody should read the AP and KTLA News today because we're going to send Katie Porter back to her taxpayer-subsidized housing. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the race that we're here about tonight, and that's governor. People say this race is unwinnable. Ladies and gentlemen, we know we've won, quote, unwinnable races before. Brian Dahle is a state senator from Northern California. He knows the pain of every single one of these Democrat policies, not from us being in the legislature, but because he is a family farmer, multi-generational family farmer. When the Democrats cut off water, it doesn't just cut off water to us. It cuts off water to his farm that feeds us. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a fine messenger for the Republican Party. And I tell you, when we get out the vote for him, every single point that he gets better than John Cox, pulls Scott Baugh over the hurdle, pulls Brian Marriott over the hurdle. Every point that the top of the ticket brings the lower ticket with them. And all of you in the volunteer base for the lower ticket, you're going to take Senator Brian Dahle to victory as our governor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored that we endorsed him as the state party. Please welcome State Senator Brian Dahle, candidate for governor.
Wow, what a crew. Thank you so much for having me out here tonight. Buck, Colleen, and Beth, thank you for opening up your home to all these candidates and to myself. It's amazing what you do for our party and for our community. OC, I love you. I'm only going to be up here for a few minutes tonight. I got a few things I want to share with you. I'm going to talk about the inflation. I'm going to talk about crime. I'm going to talk about homelessness. Those are the three things we're going to touch on. But first, I want to just say, for 25 years, one party has controlled the California legislature. And for the last 12 years, it's been controlled by the Democrat Party governor. Gavin Newsom yesterday was in a long sleeve shirt telling you to turn your thermostat up to 78 degrees while he was being cooled in the cooling center. That's what we have wrong in California. California has the highest taxes and the highest poverty rate in the nation. Our electricity costs are 76% higher than they are across the border in Nevada. At the same time, our power could go out today because we haven't had a plan. Gavin Newsom's failures and the elitist Democrats in Sacramento have put you in this position. We do not have to be in a constant state of crisis. California is an amazing state. We have the ability to build reservoirs. We have the ability to build power plants. We do not have to live in a constant state of crisis. I own a trucking company. In the last 8 months, diesels went up $2 a gallon higher than it was 8 months ago. That's $200 a day, 5 days a week. It's $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. California's egg prices went up 33% last year because everything that's moved by transportation is moved with diesel. It is not going away. Inflation is spiked. As your governor, there are 1,200 oil wells in California waiting at the desk of Gavin Newsom to be permitted. I will permit those wells. We will be energy interdependent in California. You know, Gavin Newsom thinks he can just throw money at a problem and it's going to get fixed. $101 billion. $101 billion. That's 101,000 millions. Just last year got spent of your taxpayers' dollars, and what have you gotten for it? Nothing. Everywhere else in the world, you would have to have some results. But for some reason, in California, you don't have to have results. It's time for us to take back our state. Let me give you an example. $20 billion spent on homelessness. Have you seen any less homelessness? You haven't. It's actually increased. Exactly. Amen. I want to talk about homelessness for a second. There are three things that make up homelessness. Number one, addiction. Number two, mental health illness. And number three, housing. I happen to know something about addiction. My father was an alcoholic. From the time I was born until 7th grade, my dad was passed out every night. My mom separated from him, took a year off and went and learned about alcoholism, and he had to make a choice between his family, his marriage, and he went into treatment right here in Pasadena and was sober for 31 years until his death. And it made a difference in my life. That's what we need to do to these homeless people. You cannot get them on a pathway to help until you get rid of their addiction issues. We need to hire new mental health clinicians along the way. And the last thing I want to share with you is housing. I don't care if you're homeless or not. Affordable housing in California is not affordable, as you all know. I was on the road with my son Reagan traveling, campaigning, and he's 20 years old. And his generation doesn't even think they're going to be able to own a home in California. That's sad. The California dream is gone. People are leaving California because the cost is too high. What will I do as your governor? Well, you know, we built a stadium right there in Sacramento for the Kings, exempted all the CEQA laws, so the power brokers can get it done as long as it's pay to play. As you know well, Gavin Newsom and the elitist Democrats are very well at pay to play. We can do those same things. When I'm your governor, we're going to cut red tape, we're going to streamline the process, and we're going to build homes in California. Now, I want to talk about crime for a minute. We have Prop 47, Prop 57, both which Gavin Newsom supported. I'm going to say some very crazy things right now that I'm hoping that you don't know because it's so scary. You can rape an unconscious woman in California, and it's not a violent crime. Proposition 57. I can't think of anything more violent than that. You remember a couple of months ago when there was a shooting on K Street in Sacramento? 112 rounds were shot, 6 people died. Bullet holes in the California Republican Party's headquarters on K Street because Gavin Newsom's parole board let out criminals early. When I'm your governor, we will appoint a parole board that will put violent criminals back in prison. Now, I want to transition here to how can I win? Look, we just had a recall. We were all like geared up to take out Gavin Newsom and it didn't work. I understand that. I get it. This is a lot different race. A lot has happened since the recall. I'm going to tell you how we can win this race. There are 22 million registered voters in California. A third of them showed up in the primary to vote. We expect about 54% of Californians to vote in this general election. That's 12.5 million voters. Now, there are 7.5 million Republicans in California. Your job and my job is to make sure they get out to vote. 7.5 million is more than enough to win the 50% plus one we need to win. So we need you to secure their ballots. What do I mean by that? Go out, get your neighbors after October 7th, fill their ballot out, take it to the county clerk, and make sure you turn it in. It's on us. Those 2.5 million Republicans would have showed up. Gavin Newsom would not be our governor right now, it would be Larry Elders. So we can win. We must do our job. I want to just close with this. Can you take 4 more years of Gavin Newsom in California? We have to win this. The future of our families, our future of our businesses is on the line. We must get out. I need you to do a couple of things. I need you to donate to my campaign. People are asking me, hey, how come you haven't ran a commercial? Well, you have to have money to run commercials. So you can go to briandahle.com or you can grab that envelope on your table tonight and fill it out and send me some money so we can communicate to the millions of voters that we need to talk to in California. I just want to say, God bless you, thank you, and let's take back California.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you to the Johns family. Thank you to Doy Henley and Ed Laird for helping provide this. There's still food and drink. Enjoy yourselves. But on the way out, you're going to see a campaign sign for your local candidate, whether it's Assembly or Congress or State Senate or even City Council, please take a sign, put it in your yard. That tells your neighbor that you're for that person, and there's nothing like a personal endorsement that has somebody vote for somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with the heat. Please get out this weekend. We need you precinct walking, we need you phoning, and we need your donations. On to victory.